You might have noticed lately that there's a ton of hype around a relatively new online community platform called Skool with a K. Skool is the brainchild of well-known internet entrepreneur Sam Ovens, and your and my favorite business anti-guru Alex Hormozi has invested heavily into it and is promoting it heavily as we speak. But is Skool really the best platform for you to host your online community, or just an incestuous guru hype orgy? As someone who works daily with online community owners who host their communities on a variety of different platforms, I'm going to share some opinions that I have on the matter with you. And my hope is that by sharing these insights and experiences from the trenches, it will help you to better understand your options and ultimately decide what's best for you and your business or your client's business. So let's get to it. The first thing to realize is that while Skool may seem new and shiny, it's not the first of its kind, and it's certainly not the only online community building platform out there. There's actually a bunch of them, and some of them have been around for quite a while. There's, just to name a few, Mighty Networks, Circle, there's BuddyBoss, which is a WordPress-based platform, Envision Community, Kajabi, Facebook groups, Discord, and countless others. And most of these platforms have been operating for years, gathering feedback from their users, iterating their product, adding features. You could say that, and you'd be right, they have a massive head start. So that begs a question. Is Skool 10 times better than anything out there? Or is it only incrementally better, marginally better? And if so, in what particular aspects and for whom? I can say that while Skool is definitely slick, it's very user-friendly, it has a strong feature set out of the box, and it seems to have a nice development roadmap. It is not some revolutionary new platform that's disrupting the entire space and changing the way that everybody does everything forever. Like, not at all. But luckily for Skool and for everybody else, there's plenty of room in the marketplace for all of these competing solutions because they appeal to different people for different reasons. You might have a very heavily engaged, socially oriented community, in which case you want that community, almost social network type aspect, that Facebook type aspect or Instagram type aspect, right? Whereas if, let's say, you're running a hobby community, you might actually prefer something more static, like a traditional forum where there's lots of threads and there's an easy search functionality. It's easy to refer to certain threads that are more like cataloging information. And it really depends on the culture of your community, which you know best what that looks like. In fact, most of the folks that we work with before choosing their platform, they'll try out a few different platforms, and some folks even started on one platform, then they moved to another, then they had us migrate them back to the original platform and to another platform after that. So it's not a one and done a lot of times, especially as your business and your community grows. And ultimately, while, if you like, trust, and follow Sam Ovens, Alex Hormozi, that will definitely skew your perception towards Skool in a positive way. But ultimately, if the product doesn't meet your needs in some way, or more specifically the needs of your members, you probably won't stick around, or eventually you will be incentivized to look at something else. Your members will dictate this primarily. Of course, it's nice from your perspective if it's easy to administer, it's easy to work with, and it's functional, it's fast. Yes, all of that is nice and important, but ultimately it's for your members, right? So I personally am a big fan of Alex Hormozi, but I would not use Skool for my online community. 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5 times out of 10, I would not advise a customer or prospective customer coming to me to use Skool either. Now, in some cases, to be clear, I'd say, actually, you know what, Skool might be perfect for you. So it really depends on the situation, and it depends on the nature of the community and on the preferences of the owner of the community as well. So a lot of it is subjective. But my misgivings have less to do with Skool as such in terms of its feature set, and more to do with the fact that Skool is a platform that you do not own. So let's talk about that because it's a critical thing to know and understand. My beef with Skool and with all of what I call third-party platforms is that you don't own them. You don't own the data, you don't own the actual technology, the platform. It's not an open source technology, and therefore you cannot really meaningfully influence the development. At best, if you're running a Skool community and there's a feature that you really, really want, but they don't have, you can go and make a feature request. And if you're lucky, a lot of other people want that same feature and they'll upvote that feature request. And then maybe, maybe not, the development team will prioritize that feature on their development roadmap. Probably not, right? So if you really have a good relationship with the dev team, you see that they listen to the community very well, okay, maybe it's a trade-off that you're willing to make. But in general, it's still not a platform that you own. And it's not a platform that you can develop on top of. Whereas something like WordPress, which is an open source technology, you can edit it, you can change the code base, all of the plugins are open source. If you need something very, very particular, you can just have it developed. You can pay a developer to develop it for you and implement it for you. Now with Skool, you can integrate with other third-party tools, with other tools via Zapier, via webhooks, but you can't actually change the platform itself. And that is really the point. And that is a double-edged sword in my opinion, because while we work primarily with WordPress, we have migrated sites from third-party platforms like Kajabi, Teachable, etc. to WordPress. And we've also migrated people from WordPress to Kajabi, Teachable, etc. And why would you do one or the other? Well, if you're migrating away from a third-party platform like Kajabi, Teachable, Skool, and so forth, to WordPress, it's generally going to be the main reason that we see is it doesn't have enough flexibility. It doesn't have the features that we need or that our community is clamoring for. And it doesn't really, it basically represents a bottleneck to growth or a bottleneck to engagement or effective learning or whatever is the situation. It's limited by design, it's limited, and you need more flexibility, and so therefore you're looking at WordPress. On the other hand, you could feel like, damn, I have too much flexibility. I have to pay developers to set up and support and maintain WordPress. I have to pay all these plugin licensing fees, and there's so much moving parts. I have to manage updates. You know, WordPress is just a big pain in my ass. You know what? I'd rather just move everything to Kajabi, or I'd rather just move everything to Skool and just worry about content creation and giving my community value. And if you're okay with making that trade-off and you understand, and your members, more importantly, understand that it is a trade-off. There are no, to quote the great Thomas Sowell, there are no solutions. There are only trade-offs. So if you understand that you're trading all of this flexibility, extensibility for relative simplicity, and you understand what features you're giving up and you could live with that, then hey, it may be really the right choice for you. And even then, I would say, go and try out the different platforms, right? Because I mean, Skool is awesome. It looks really cool, and I really like it as a user, as a member of different communities. But again, there are already a lot of solutions out there, and you may find that another solution fits you better. So go and try a few of these other solutions would be my suggestion. That's what I would do. I'm not saying that's what you should do. That's what I would do. That's what I would suggest you do if you came to me and asked me for advice on the topic. I'd say, yeah, just go see what you like and try that. And then maybe even put a cohort of your members. Let's say you have like a group of 10 or 20 power users who just like really love you and your community, and you know, you want to give them the opportunity to sort of beta test this other tech, get their input. That would probably help make your decision. But even if you're starting a community from scratch, yeah, you can start it on Skool, no problem. It's definitely easy to start. But I would say don't actually build for Skool. Use it, utilize the network effect that's happening, all of the growth that's happening, and utilize it as what essentially is an acquisition channel, right? This is a place where people are coming onto Skool specifically because of all of the hype that's happening, and they're like, ooh, I want to see what's on Skool. I want to join different communities on Skool, and they see your community and they join your community, and you give them value, you nurture them, and then you bring them over to your ecosystem, right? Your platform, a platform that you own, where you control the data, where nobody's going to be able to deplatform you. And one of the things that I saw from Sam Ovens, so there's actually a post on the Skool community, the official Skool community on Skool, I should say, and it was a question about censorship. And Sam Ovens' reply was, your community is your property, I quote, you moderate it. The only time we need to intervene is if your community is breaking the law, end quote. And I thought that was a little bit daft, as the Brits would say, because your community is not your problem. You don't own anything. You're on their platform. So I'm sure he didn't mean literally that it's your property. I think he simply meant to say that they're not going to come in and censor your community if you're discussing some kind of distasteful to them topic. In other words, they're not taking a political stance, or let's say they're not babysitting or moderating any of their communities on the basis that they may or may not agree with what's being discussed. But they will intervene if your community is breaking the law. Well, for 98%, 99% probably of online entrepreneurs that we work with, this is not even something that you need to think about. But if you're in that sliver of people who discuss a polarizing topic, anything political, for example, anything to do with male-female dynamics, that's a very polarizing topic, anything to do with, offshore stuff, cryptocurrency, anything to do with government, anything like that, you need to realize that just because something is not against the law specifically doesn't mean you won't get deplatformed. You can only get deplatformed from a platform that you don't own. And you think that Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozy are going to take up your cause when you're in some shit with the media, or like you're getting bad press, and that they're going to come and defend your point of view in the name of free speech? They probably won't. They'll probably realize that this is bad for business, and they'll just ban you and get on with life. Elon Musk does that kind of thing, right? And good for him, right? But you just need to understand that if you're in that small sliver of people who talk about polarizing, disputatious topics, that it doesn't need to be against the law for you to get screwed, for you to get banned. If people want to witch hunt you and they want to ban you, they will ban you, right? So just understand that as with all things, particularly in the technical realm, there are trade-offs. And one of those trade-offs, and this pertains to Skool and every other community platform, is that the more technically feature-rich the platform is, the steeper the learning curve, right? The more maintenance required, the more money you're probably going to have to put into it. It might only cost you $99 a month to run your Skool community, but what if, let's say, your community is based in, Egypt or some country in the Middle East or in Africa that does not have access to Stripe, or maybe does not have access to PayPal, which are the two payment processors currently available through Skool, and you want to be able to take payment through cryptocurrency or through a local payment method. Well, you're not going to be able to do that through Skool, in which case you probably wouldn't consider it anyway, but you can do that through WordPress and some other more open source ecosystem. So I like Skool. I think it's really cool. I really love how engaging and sticky it is, and how sort of easy on the eyes it is from the perspective of a member of the groups that I am a member of. And I did try to start my own Skool group, and I gave up rather quickly because I realized that there's probably not a lot of demand for the topics that I talk about, which are membership sites and WordPress technology. There's probably not a lot of demand on Skool for that stuff per se. And I just didn't want to have all my stuff on somebody else's platform. But if you are talking about business in general, or social media or dating, as long as it's not too polarized, Skool might be really great, because again, you're going to be riding the wave of all the new traffic coming in onto that platform, and you can use that traffic to grow your group and then funnel people into your platform. So if I were sort of starting a group and sort of serious about it, or if somebody asked me for my opinion, that is how I would definitely approach it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and let me know your thoughts.